Hey guys, it's Brain Freeze Laser here, and it's a little bit late at night, kind of early actually, early in the morning. But I was doing a little bit of investigating, and um, concerning the elemental lords, as they're known in America. And I've seen a lot of talk in the forums, seen a lot of talk in the comment sections of my videos and other people's videos, as to what the effects of the elemental lords are based on, speculation as to what the wind monster's effect will be, and whether or not there will be a light or dark elemental lord. Now, before I go into that, I'm going to kind of give a little bit of a back history on the cards that they're based on, cards that they're kind of similar to, and different things like that. So, here we go. So basically, if you look up the spiritual art cards, so keep in mind that they're called spiritual art cards. So there's spiritual wind art, spiritual water art, spiritual fire art, and spiritual earth art. And the earth one, spiritual earth art, is tribute one earth monster on your side of the field, special summon one level 4 or lower earth monster from your graveyard except the tributed monster. So Grand Soil is basically a souped up version of that, basically almost exactly like he's exactly like Monster Reborn. So that's kind of a trend that they follow. They're superpowered versions of the spiritual art cards, but they're also almost identical to banned cards. So spiritual art fire, or we'll go into water first. Spiritual art Aoi is basically tribute one water monster, look at your opponent's hand, then send one card from their hand to the graveyard. Now, Mulan Glace, which hasn't come out yet for America, is in Abyss Rising, and he's basically a powered up and dumbed down version of that card. You don't get to look in their hand, but you hit 2 cards from their hand, so that's more powerful, but also dumbed down. So spiritual fire art, Kurenai is tribute 1 fire monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. Now, the elemental lord Pyrorex is the fire version. His effect is deal damage equal to half the attack of one monster destroyed by his effect. And he's basically a more powerful version of Kurenai, but he's weaker than Ring of Destruction. So he's kind of like a combination of Kurenai plus Ring of Destruction, but a little weaker. And the next one would most probably be Wind Art Miyabi. So Miyabi states, tribute 1 wind monster to select 1 card your opponent controls, place that card on the bottom of the deck. Now that's interesting because I don't know how they would be able to power that up and balance it. I guess, well, let's take a look at Mulan Glace and say, you look in your opponent's hand, select 1 card, and then discard it. So let's take that and kind of add it to what Miyabi's powered up version would be. Probably something like, I guess you could say, select 2 cards your opponent controls and add those cards to the bottom of the deck. I don't really think that there's any card like that on the ban list that's similar to the cards, the effects of that, except Giant Trinade. Giant Trinade would put all spell and trap cards both players control back into their hands. I don't think they would do that. I think they would probably do something more like select 2 cards your opponent controls, add them back to the bottom of the opponent's deck. Something along those lines. Okay, now there is speculation basically that there will not be a light and dark version of these monsters. And basically the argument is that the elemental lords are elements. So earth, fire, water, and wind. And that's a valid argument, but it's also invalid in that the elemental lords are not elemental lords in Japan. Now, so listen to this. On the elemental lord page on the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki, it says elemental lord known as spirit god, or Raishin, in the OCG is a series of Nomi monsters. So they're not known as elemental lords in Japan. They're known as spirit gods. That's thusly, coinciding with the spiritual art cards. And if you look at the spiritual art cards, there are 6 spiritual art cards. There is a dark and a light spiritual art card. So let's look at the light one first. Spiritual light art Hijiri. And spiritual light art Hijiri says, tribute 1 light monster to target 1 banished monster. Your opponent can reveal 1 trap card from their hand to negate this card's effect. Otherwise, you can special summon that monster. So that's really cool because it doesn't state a level or anything. It's just You tribute one light monster, you go out of play, bring something back from out of play, it's yours. And the dark card is tribute one dark monster, draw 2 cards. Your opponent can negate the effect by revealing 1 spell card in their hand. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that they would not leave the built-in negation effects for the Elemental Lord's monster effects, because they're souped up versions. So I'm going to talk about the light version first. Most likely what the Elemental Lord of Light was probably Dimension Fusion, since Dimension Fusion is banned. You would most likely only be able to bring back 2 remove from play cards, which is still really powerful. For free, you would just go special summon my light guy, bring back 2 dudes that are removed from play. That's really powerful. Or it would be, bring back as many as you can, like Dimension Fusion. So that's really crazy to kind of think that Dimension Fusion will be coming back in the form of a light monster. And the dark monster is Pot of Greed. So I mean, I really can't see Konami going, well, you can have Pot of Greed back in the form of a dark monster. I mean, like, that's like insane. And another argument is that people are saying, well, dark monsters already have, Dad. Dark monsters already have Creator, the Dark Creator, and Dark Archlor Zerato, and Dark this and Dark that. That doesn't mean jack. Dad's at 1, Gorge is at 1, Allure of Darkness is at 1. So Dark is still fairly powerful, but it isn't the powerhouse it used to be. And Konami is in the business of making money. So if they want to sell cards, they're going to make very broken, very powerful cards. Phantom Darkness was a set based on basically superpowered dark monsters and dark cards. Light, whatever, the set the Light Swarms came out of, I think. It was light monsters and light support cards. So you don't think that, history would repeat itself and they would kind of make these cards again? I think that would be a mistake to think that Konami wouldn't, do that. So basically that's my argument as to why that they're, what the win monster might be. The win monster may be select 2 monsters your opponent controls, put them back on the bottom of the deck, or select 2 cards your opponent controls, put them back on the bottom of the deck, or it might be all monsters or all backfield. That's still up in the air, but looking at the trend and seeing what Mulan Glace does, it'll most likely be 2 cards. And you may not get to choose, since with Mulan Glace it's random. So we'll see what the stipulation with the win monster is. Pyro Rex is actually coming out in Cosmo Blazer. So, after Abyss Rise, Abyss Rising is Cosmo Blazer. So that's going to be something to look out for. And basically, my argument is that there very well could be a light and a dark elemental monster, because they're not really supposed to be called elemental monsters. It's a translation thing. Konami does this very often, where the translation is wrong, or the translation is, basically changed because it shares a similarity to something, what do you want to say, religious or something. So Spirit God was turned into Elemental Lord. So, Spirit God probably wouldn't have passed over too well with, Catholicism and stuff like that we have in America. Whereas Elemental Lord is, a lord could be a lordly thing, like a king, a duke, something like that. And he's elemental, so, whatever, elements. And unfortunately, because of that wording, people are kind of doubting that there would be a light and a dark one. And I'm kind of leaning towards that there will most very well be a light and dark one. And we're going to see a time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Again in the coming future, most likely in March or maybe May, or sometime, maybe by September again next year, where the game will take a very drastically powerful turn in the light and dark direction. So just be prepared for that. And basically that's the video. So in the comment section below, tell me what you think of, basically my theories. If you think I'm on the right track, or if you think, Konami would not make the same mistakes twice, as we've seen them do multiple times. They're obviously bringing back banned cards in monster form, whether or not they are powered up versions of the Spirit Art cards. The Spirit Art cards are basically weaker versions of banned cards, and so why wouldn't the powered up monster versions be the banned cards? So there you go. So yeah, in the comment section below, just let me know what you think about that. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you like If you want to see when I put out new videos, hit the subscribe button, and thanks for watching.